Hi everyone, I'm Victor. We always get into situations and think that maybe it would be great if it never happened. We always think that the best thing is something that didn't happen. Well, I'm going to show you something today, okay, which happened to me, which changed my life. 3 events. The first thing is you obey the thing that you don't want. You obey the thing that you don't think is right for you. I came from a family who my grandfather was very, very famous. He was one of the very famous famous politician, famous scholar, and he's known throughout China and Taiwan. Ever since I was young, I know everything about him. He wrote a lot of books, okay? A lot of books. Everything from Chinese philosophy to Confucianism, from I Ching to Chinese medicine to, everything. So I've known him for a long time that he's capable of writing different scholar stuff. When I was a kid, I studied in a local Chinese school in Taiwan. And studying in Chinese school was okay for me. Then my parents turned me into an international school. When I was in international school, my parents took me and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to give you a Chinese teacher to teach you Chinese. She came to my house one day and she said, I know your grandfather. I'm going to give you a good lesson. The second week, she came to our study room and she saw this. Who is your other grandfather? And I said, that's my grandfather's name. And the other grandfather, my mom's father, okay, and then there are in-laws. And she said, your grandfather, your mom's father, is the teacher of my teacher of my teacher. He used to run the entire Chinese department in Normal University, which is a university that teaches teachers. And I said, okay, but he passed away when I was 4 years old. I didn't know anything about him. And she said, okay, from now on, because you're my teacher's grandson, I'm going to teach you differently. Okay, I'm going to teach you Chinese in a different way. So I found, I look up my other grandfather, and he was another scholar. He got his PhD at 19 years old, and he started teaching Chinese at 21 in Beijing University. Okay. So he was a very, very well-known scholar who my grandfather wrote the textbooks for the Chinese department. These are all his textbooks. Okay, so you can go to a Chinese major person and have one of them being your major, but he wrote all these. So it was overwhelming for me to have both my grandparents being so famous and very, very well-known scholars. So she said, okay, I'm going to teach you differently. I'm going to teach you in a way that, it's not like regular way of teaching. So she said, let me take out the book, this one, who has all the classical Chinese inside. And she said, let's tear out all the translations and stop everything you want. I mean, back then, there's no Google, okay? So you can't look it up on the internet. So you had to look up in a dictionary. I said, okay, fine. What should I do? She said, look up each word and try to use your logic to translate each passage. Oh my gosh, that was the worst time in my whole life because I couldn't understand anything. I was 12 years old. Then I was, really, really upset with it. And I talked to my teacher and she said, you know what? You just have to do it. You can't, there's no reason for you not to do it because look at this dictionary. Okay, it's called the Chinese dictionary. And look at who the editor is. It's your grandfather. And I said, oh my gosh, I simply cannot escape. So what happened? I have to obey it. And then eventually, it was turning my life into a really, really sad and miserable time. In the morning, I had to go to international school. Back then, this is about 32, 33 years ago, English was not a must-learn language. So knowing 26 alphabets and knowing maybe some vocabularies is very good for a person back then in elementary school. I couldn't even say, where's the bathroom? Okay. Now, so I had to learn everything from scratch. Then I had to go to a classical Chinese lesson, which you thought you know about Chinese, but everything is in classical Chinese, so you couldn't understand anything. And going to daytime, you couldn't understand anything. Going at nighttime, you couldn't understand anything. So I learned everything from scratch, basically, at 12 years old. Then I cried to my parents almost every week, and I said, I want to give this up. I just can't take this anymore. They just said, no, you just have to endure it. Okay, take it or leave it. Just I'm either that or we're gonna send you to military school or back to local school. I said, fine, okay, I'll just keep on going. I'm not gonna tell you what this is gonna change me. I'm gonna tell you in the end what happened. But you couldn't do anything other than obeying. That's part of the life. That's part of the growing. Okay, that's the first story I'm going to tell you. The second story is no questions asked. Okay, so after my high school, I went to the U.S. for college. I went to a Midwest university, and I wanted to get some extra money. So I asked my father and said, "Can I do a job? Can I go find a part-time job and make some money?" My father said, "Sure. But the first job you do, you have to listen to me. You have to go to wherever I say you go to and at whatever time I want you to." I said, "It's a job. Come on. Why would you have to tell me when and where to go?" Well, it turns out because my father also went to the same university I did. So he knew exactly what happens during the time, okay, in the universities. So he said, go at this time and go to the fast food around the campus. And I said, okay, I don't understand why, but turns out that when you guys go to college, especially in the US, you probably have encountered football season. Okay, this is my school. 80,000 screaming people at the stadium with our school team and opponent school team, and there's going to be parties everywhere. People are going to have fun, they're going to drink, everything. Now, guess where is the most busy place around that campus? The fast food. So I was sent to the fast food. I was told by my father, just go to the fast food restaurant around the stadium, and the only thing you can do is clean the floor and bathroom. So people who go around that time are all either drunk or very, very happy, and then all these people will go, hundreds and thousands of people will go every single day during that time, during that weekend. So there are some times who the football team did not play. That's fine for me. Okay, it's regular cleaning bathroom. But there are times when the football team plays in our school, and it was just crazy. The bathroom, this looks like an okay bathroom. Okay, back then this is 1997. There was no cell phone. There was no camera. I'm not gonna take a picture of the bathroom. But imagine this. Imagine a meatloaf exploded in the bathroom and you had to clean it. And that's what happened to me. I look it up and I said, oh my gosh, why am I doing this? Why is my father asking me to do this? Okay, but he always said, no questions asked, I'll tell you later. So I had to do this for a few months. And of course, I learned my money, but I'll tell you later on what happens after I did this job. So, I couldn't believe this happened to me. I questioned myself, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? But the second lesson is no questions asked. And the third lesson my father gave me was accept and adapt. As you can see, my family is very close. I have a younger brother. My father and my mother were all happy together. After the school in US, I went to Shanghai Jiao Tong University, and I studied in Shanghai for a little bit. Then the worst thing happened to me. The worst thing happened to me, which changed my life a lot. Okay, which is my father passed away. Was his last picture when he was in the hospital. He passed away, very suddenly. We didn't expect anything like that. So I was 25 years old, and I had to grow. I had to be mature. I had to change myself. I had to fly back to Taiwan, and I had to take over his company. That was all 25 years old. And, I had to accept the fact that he's gone. The grief, the sadness, the anger, and also it was very surreal because you couldn't believe it happened because it just, happened. And, I had to take over the company at 25 years old. I still remember the first day I walked into the company and the front desk lady, the front desk reception was older than me. I was the youngest person. Okay, I had to take over the company. And I didn't know anything about this because I was still a student. I had to walk into the company. I had to try not to cry. I had to go into my dad's office and look up all the emails, all the facts, all the documents, all the contracts, and I had to grow overnight. And I was bullied by the company's, older management people. They would try to take advantage of me and say, well, because you don't know this, I'm going to take more, money, or salary. And I was also bullied by our old partnering company. So there's a lot of things that it changed me during that time. And the most thing that changed me is that you have to face real challenges. Real challenges, unlike video games, unlike school, they give you second chances. Real life challenges that you just don't have any chance anymore. You just, you can only do it once. So that is something that changed me totally. Okay, but with the previous two, that really made it who I am. So I wanted to share with you guys that, the first thing is I was forced to obey the Chinese lessons. Okay, and what happened to me is it built my Chinese reading and writing skills to a level that I don't think any of my international schoolmates are having my Chinese level skills. I also teach Chinese philosophy. I'm getting my PhD in Chinese medicine. Okay, so I don't think most of my friends who are my schoolmates could get to this level of Chinese. And so I'm also able to read my grandfather's books, okay, both my grandfather's books, which is a big deal for me because I think that makes me carry on their legacy, understand how they're thinking, understand what their accomplishments are, okay, and also these are the things that you couldn't think it helped because I was having a bad time. I simply just had a bad time during studying time. But when I grow up, I found out, wow, if I didn't do it, if I didn't obey, I couldn't have been accomplished like this. So this is the first lesson. The second lesson is Oh, no questions asked. Why are you, you have to go do the job in the fast food restaurant. But why? Why did I have to go there? It's because after I've done these things, after I've been to the job, I felt this is a very humble experience for me. Okay, why is it a humble experience? Because first of all, I could get my hands dirty. I could, go down and trying to wash everything. And the most important thing is I appreciate people who serve us. I appreciate people who help us and make our environments clean. Okay. Because I've been there. I know exactly how bad it could be. So I actually appreciate and respect them. So this is the second lesson. And the third lesson is my dad's passing. Learning to accept and adapt, which you have to grow up fast enough to adapt. Okay, that is very, very hard because if you don't adapt, you're just going to be far behind. And also, it turned me into the anchor and pillar for my family. Okay, they rely on me, and that is responsibility. Sometimes you just have to accept the responsibility and adapt to it. Okay, and also because of this, I obtained multiple skills because I have to learn, I have to grow up. And this is the thing that made me who I am today. But, the most important thing is because of the two lessons previously, because I could learn Chinese, because I know about how hard it is for people who work hard, and I respect them, and then therefore I can understand and I say, wow, I can finally carry on my family's legacy. I can carry on my family's spirit. And that made me who I am today. So the lesson I wanted to share with you guys is that, we always wish things could turn out differently, the way we want, the way we like. And we always want to avoid the bad experience. But it wouldn't have been better, if the worst didn't happen. You learn from the worst. You learn from the bad experience. And eventually, it will make you into a better and stronger person, or even more able person. And I hope my experience can tell you guys that one day you look back to your bad experience, you'll see, wow, actually, that's not that bad. It actually helped me a lot. And it helped me grow, it helped me learn, it helped me adapt, and it helped me face myself to better things. Thank you, everyone.